We think Oregon has the best, small batch craft organic cannabis out there. So
I'm sure a lot of people are watching this wishing they were here. How much weed do you produce here?
Over 300 pounds per year.
Got arrested, went to court, did 1129 of probation.
For this?
For that.
It's money. It's probably it's an easy target as far as throwing people in jail.
Você tem leis, você tem regras, você tem normas, e você tem uma máquina de fazer dinheiro.
Right now, we're competing with big corporations, people who have big money, people who have a lot of capital coming in.
you look like you've done this before. You don't look like a rookie to me, Pedro. He said he's never smoked before, but I think he might be lying with that one.
Portland is known for, being trailblazers.
A maconha já deixou de ser tabu aqui nos Estados Unidos há muito tempo. Na verdade, durante as eleições de 2020, todos os referendos e todos os plebiscitos relacionados à maconha foram aprovados, sem exceção. Por isso, eu estou aqui em Portland, uma cidade no estado do Oregon, com 600 mil habitantes, que virou um símbolo, desse universo, dessa indústria. Aqui você já pode consumir, fumar maconha para fins medicinais e recreativos desde 2015. E pelo visto, está dando certo. Eu vim aqui descobrir por quê. Bem-vindo à maior livraria independente do mundo. Está aqui desde 1971, 50 anos. Portland tem essa fama, não só aqui nos Estados Unidos, mas no mundo inteiro, de ser uma cidade onde os jovens praticam hábitos que talvez os pais deles praticassem. O que eu estou falando? Aqui você tem loja de VHS, as pessoas leem gibi e a cultura de ler livro, não livro online, livro com toque, é muito viva. E aqui a gente tem uma sessão inteira só sobre maconha, é claro. Então você tem ali um livro de receitas medicinais, um livro que mostra como você pode plantar maconha em casa, como você pode vender maconha online, livro de ficção sobre maconha, uma enciclopédia de maconha e muitos livros de receita para você cozinhar com a maconha. Feijão, legumes, chocolate, ovo, sobremesa, suco, milkshake, drink de maconha, sobremesa de maconha. Eu fico imaginando se é um ciclo, Você come, aí tem larica, aí você fica com fome, aí você come de novo, aí cozinha de novo. Quando que você para, Porque haja fome, haja receita, haja maconha. E uma coisa que você nota é que aquela ideia do maconheiro mal ajambrado mudou muito né? Você vê que os livros, eles têm uma sofisticação, um design, que hoje em dia a gente compara eles a qualquer livro de culinária, por exemplo. O mundo mudou, minha gente. Que bom. Tava caindo. Eu ainda não fumei maconha. É impossível entender a magnitude da indústria da maconha sem prestar atenção nos números. Nos últimos 5 anos, os Estados Unidos acumularam mais de 8 bilhões de dólares em impostos arrecadados da venda legal da maconha. Dessa grana, pelo menos 75% foi direcionada para a saúde, educação e segurança do país. Além disso, hoje em dia, essa indústria é responsável pelo ganha-pão de mais de 340 mil americanos. Por essas e por outras, 65% da população é a favor da legalização total da erva. Aqui em Portland, você encontra um coffee shop a cada esquina. E uma coisa que você encontra em quase toda esquina também é alguém fumando maconha. Eu acabei de esbarrar em 2 caras simpaticíssimos. E esses caras pareceram receptivos de cara. Eu diria que em menos de 3 minutos eles estavam perguntando se eu queria provar a maconha dele. Provar? Não vou falar dar um tapa, né? Why did you guys move to Portland?
I came here to sell cannabis legally.
All right.
I put it this way, when I first moved out here, we were smoking a joint outside the bar, and somebody just walked up and said, "May I partake?" And we said yes.
Right.
Here, only 1 to 2% of the dispensaries are owned by black folks, by the black community.
1%.
1%.
And we being nice.
Yeah.
We being nice with that 1%.
How can that change? How can we have a place that's more fair?
Well, honestly, I'm in the cannabis industry as a wholesaler, and what I found my shortcomings to be would be the entry. So there's an entry fee, you know. In order to get a license, I mean, it's $250,000.
Wow.
You know, just to get the license. We're not talking about the building, the regulations, because you have to make sure the building is okay. So it's a lot. It's heavily regulated.
Yeah.
With you know, within the legalization of it. And so it's a lot of hoops you have to, you know, you basically have to pay to play.
With all due respect, it's pretty up because it's pretty because they lock people up. So like, you know, black and brown folks are good enough to lock them up because of the weed, but they're not good enough to be given opportunity to profit from the weed, to climb the ladder for the weed, you know, to change lives with it. I don't know, man.
Got arrested, went to court, did 1129 of probation.
For this.
For that right there. I'm glad the camera's getting that, but for that, you know, and it's crazy, like, all the way across the United States, here, it's legal.
It really is medicine. It really is medicine, and that's it's not like, oh, we're just getting high. You see, we just smoked this blunt. We're not going crazy. We're not running down the street with our clothes off or anything like that. We're having a productive conversation right now. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So I think that the marketing that was initially brought to it, you know, and it takes unlearning and relearning the fact that no, this does have some great benefits to it, even extracting the CBD from it, even if you want to go into the hemp industry. The plant is it's a cannabis plant. It's the same plant.
Yep.
You know, so it's the same plant. I was about to say, in the more simplistic way, you're put in a cage for smoking this. You're put in a cage and not treated human because of that. That's not hurting anyone.
Nope. If anything, it's curing.
You know, that's not doing anything to the air. It's not polluting the air. It's not oil. It's not burning oil. You know? Yeah. Just something to think about. You know, just something to think about.
Só em 2020, a venda legal de maconha gerou mais de 17 bilhões de dólares. Isso parece muito, mas quando você pensa que mais de 200 bilhões de dólares foram consequência de venda de álcool, você vê que ainda falta muito para chegar lá. Um alcoólatra, frequentemente, é tratado como uma pessoa que tem um problema médico, como uma pessoa doente, enquanto que uma pessoa que é pega com maconha, dependendo de que estado, de que lugar, de que situação, ela geralmente é tratada como um criminoso. Por incrível que pareça, em 2020, mais gente foi presa por porte de maconha que por qualquer outro crime. Na verdade, eu não sou um usuário de maconha, mas esse assunto sempre me interessou, sempre me fascinou, porque ele é muito maior do que a gente imagina. Uma foto. Aqui temos um presente, uma caixa. Leve o Oregon para casa com você. A caixa 420. Em 1971, 5 estudantes jovens descobriram uma plantação de maconha. E o que eles fizeram? Combinaram de todo dia, às 4h20 da tarde, irem até a plantação de maconha e fumarem um baseado. Por isso, 420 virou um código, né, para a hora de você fumar maconha. Um boné lindo, uma camiseta, todos falando sobre o Oregon e sobre maconha, com a temática da cannabis. Aqui a gente tem seda. Aqui você tem um cardápio. Isso é super interessante. A maconha que a gente fuma hoje, que a gente consome hoje, é muito melhor que a maconha dos anos 70, 80, graças à tecnologia. Antigamente, você não tinha como misturar os benefícios de uma maconha encontrada num clima mais frio com os benefícios de uma maconha encontrada num clima mais quente. Então, hoje em dia, você pode ter tudo que você quer numa mesma maconha. Você quase pode fazer uma curadoria. Eu quero uma para dormir, eu quero uma para sair. Isso realmente é um avanço. E como muitos dos meus amigos dizem, viver na era da boa maconha é um barato.
I think it's interesting because you can go all around Portland and you can find a lot of different dispensaries, and it's a lot more common than probably most cities. I think it's just because Portland has a pretty open mind about substance use and weed especially.
This is our menu here. So basically we break everything down by the terpenes, right? So we have our terpene periodical table. So these are the most common terpenes that are in cannabis. So you have pinene, you have myrcene, you have limonene, you have beta-carotene, you have linalool. So what we do is that we find out what the dominant terpene is, and then we can tell you what effect you're gonna have. Let's say you want something more happy, rosy, euphoric, kind of like more so kind of like light up in the middle. That's gonna be, you know, limonene. So we're gonna find something that's gonna be euphoric, uplifted in mood, that dominant limonene terpene that's in that cannabis, and then same thing for chill. If you want something sleep or sedative, that's gonna be beta-carotene or myrcene. So these are gonna be your strains that's gonna have a little bit more sedative type of feel.
I love the rappers. Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Notorious B.I.G.
Absolutely. So we connect these different types of names and vibes of the artists with the terpenes. So we would say Snoop Dogg is going to be more of chill, laid back, right? So we're going to put Tupac in the chill.
That's
so we're going to put like somebody like E40, I would say in the happy zone. That's more up. He's more up and active type of vibe. So we got everything categorized for happy, the active, we got the chills, and we got the sleeps. So we know that those are gonna be those dominant terpenes that's gonna give you those effects.
And why do people come to you and not to another dispensary? I know why I would come to you.
I think people come to us because they're gonna know they're gonna get their true feel and effect, right? So when you come to us, you're gonna know if you want something that's gonna be more up and active, we're gonna give you that strain that's gonna be more up and active. So it's gonna be more accurate in terms of when you pick your cannabis, you know exactly what type of feel and vibe you're gonna get.
Sure. Bob Marley. I want that one.
Yeah.
I just met you, but I think it's important for me to say that I have crazy respect for you and for what you've done. You know, we've been talking about pioneers. And out of all the dispensaries in this place, less than 3%, maybe less than 2% are Black owned. And you've done this. How was that beginning? What have been the biggest challenges when it comes to what you've built?
So I'm a teacher by trade. I taught 5th grade, 6th grade, 4th grade. Coming in with that mindset of giving back, came in with the mindset of creating an academy. The academy was supposed to diversify the community, diversify the industry, to bring more people of color into the industry. However, right now we're being slapped by capitalism. So you cannot have a mindset of giving back and wanting to make a difference in this industry. You have to have a mindset of entrepreneurship in terms of like capitalism. You got to have a more of a capitalist type of mindset. It's not more of a social type of entrepreneur industry, and that's what I'm starting to find out. We're in the process of now just having to do a reset because the market is so saturated. There's so many different dispensaries, there's so many different places that people can go. It's really all about developing the relationships with the vendors, finding the right product and quality for our customers and the right prices, and being able to compete. So right now we're competing with big corporations, people who have big money, people who have a lot of capital coming in. We came in on teacher retirement funds. So we didn't come in with a lot of capital. We came in with just minimal funds, minimal relationships that we have built. And now we're starting to see the effects of that because we came in with the wrong notion. We should have came in more so with an entrepreneur hat and not a teacherpreneur aspect hat.
You're a teacher, you're an educator. Is there a way to educate a new generation to be entrepreneurial enough, to be prepared enough, to be educated enough, you know, to be able to compete in this industry?
It's funny you said that because I'm a strong believer in content and relevant content. And the relevancy of content in schools are not really preparing us to compete and survive in this society.
Equally?
No, not at all. It doesn't teach about credit, how to build wealth. So I would say it starts early, from kindergarten all the way up. So we have that integrated in our school system, which I believe we do have standards, but it's just not really being implemented. I think we could definitely see a difference, but I feel media is a very strong aspect of teaching and influencing people, because I feel Shark Tank had a huge impact on the world in terms of entrepreneurship. So I think media is a very strong component in teaching people about entrepreneurship.
Well, one of the prides of my life, one of the joys of my life is to be able to give a megaphone to people like you. So at least this platform is worth for more than just reality TV.
Absolutely.
Like, this is actual reality TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eu sempre me apego à história e ao aspecto geográfico daquele tema. Não é diferente com a maconha. Eu descobri que o primeiro registro do homem usando maconha foi há 2.700 anos na China. Depois parece que foi para o Oriente Médio, foi para o sul da África, foi para o Mediterrâneo e, eventualmente, acho que 2 séculos atrás, chegou aqui nos Estados Unidos. E é um universo muito abrangente ainda, né? Você pensa, eu estou indo para uma fazenda, para uma plantação de maconha, então você tem gente que trabalha com a plantação da maconha, tem gente que colhe a maconha, tem gente que cozinha a maconha, tem gente que fuma a maconha. A plantação é conhecida como Magic Hour, a hora mágica. E os donos são a Adriana e o Will, que pelo que eu entendi, moravam em Nova York, trabalhavam com moda e largaram tudo para mergulhar no universo da cannabis. Hi. I'm Pedro.
Adriana.
Very nice to meet you. How's it going?
Will, nice to meet you.
How's it going, Will? Thank you for having me.
If you could sign in.
Yes, of course.
Oh yeah, so this is part of regulations.
Yeah, everything is heavily regulated. Every single plant has to be tagged. We'll get into that more, but every visitor has to be accounted for, etc. So.
Na hora de entrar, você tem que passar álcool no sapato, você tem que assinar um documento dizendo que você está entrando aqui. Eles falaram que eles têm uma fortuna aqui de equipamento, de câmera para monitorar todo mundo que entra e sai. Então isso aqui não é uma brincadeira, é legítimo.
I guess we can just start by like giving you the lay of the land, and then from there you can decide how we kind of do things.
Wow.
I'm about to take you to the hole. Ready? Yo, what's up, dog? Yo, I'm about to take you to the car. What you about to do? You can't stop this. You ain't ready for this. You ain't ready. 1, 2, 3, yo. Yo, if you on the court alone, right? You still trying to give it all you got? Hoop, yo, it's 10 o'clock in the park, getting dark, but you still gotta hit this last shot.
I love you.
I got this hoop dream written all on my mind. I'm about to push rocks, orange with the black lines.
Why do these plants thrive under this environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. We go by the VPD, which is basically the vapor pressure deficit chart, and that kind of dictates the humidity, the temperature, as well as the CO2. So all of those have to align, as well as the U-moles, which is the units of light that are penetrating the buds. So all of that combined at the right kind of ratio is what helps the plants thrive. If your ratio is off, if your temperature is too high, humidity is too high, you're gonna have problems, and vice versa if they're too low.
How much weed do you produce here?
Yeah, so basically we have 3 rooms, and every harvest we average around 20 to 30 pounds. So over 300 pounds per year.
Which again, in contrast, some farms pull that per month. Don't be afraid.
Really?
Yeah, there you go. Now smell your hand. It's gonna smell crazy.
Wow.
It smells like apple, kind of, right?
It does. It smells so different when you touch it.
Yep.
I would also try this one. This is Tropicana Punch.
Tem cheiro de maçã. It's completely different.
Yeah. Should smell like Tropicana.
This one is like more citrusy,
Exactly.
more orangey.
Yep.
Exactly.
1 foot inside the free throw line, and so I elevate and lift off 'cause the world is mine. The other 3 is sweating me as I go for mine. That's 5 players falling up at the same time. If you on the court alone,
A diferença de cheiro de uma para outra. Se a diferença da sensação quando você consome for tão grande quanto a diferença do cheiro, cada uma tem seu encanto. Então aqui é o berçário. These are the babies.
We just flip these to flower, meaning that we just change the life cycle on them. So when they're in veg, when they're small and just still growing, we like to have the lights on for 18 hours and off for 6. And then when they get to a certain size and we think they're ready to flower, we switch it to 12 hours on and 12 hours off. And that's what kind of jumpstarts them to start forming buds. This is our dry room. This is where we store the product. We don't have anything drying on the vines right now. But once they're dry on the vines, we buck them down, which is basically cut off all the nugs and put them in these bags. And now these are also ready to go get trimmed up. It's a long process to being on the shelves.
He brought the bag here and like I could smell.
Yeah, so these are finished, these are trimmed. This is our GMO.
Wow.
We have better lighting in that room too, if you want to shoot the product in there. But yeah, that's a stinky one for sure.
Então aqui a gente tem quase 3 quilos de maconha e tem pelo menos $10 mil aqui dentro. You guys really focus on helping minorities as well.
100%.
How did that idea come about? How important is that for you?
That idea really just came out of a need and out of our passion to empower the community. We have this company, so why not use it as a catalyst for change, for positive change? So we knew it's kind of our responsibility to kind of pay it forward. You know, teach other people the magic hour methods, our ways of cultivating, our ways of growing cannabis. So we don't even have any employees that are white. Nothing against white people. My mom is white. I love white people. But again, we're trying to change the industry from the inside out. And we're doing that by giving people of color the first shake at employment opportunities. So
growing up, I remember watching my dad get home from work and have 1 dose of whiskey. And that sort of like allowed him to be present, to be with us. And I've developed a similar habit. There is a moment when I have dinner that I need that 1 glass of wine or that 1 drink. And so much so that my doctor, when I go there, he's like, "You're still doing that," because he said you need to have that pause in your life. You need to allow yourself to relax.
Yeah, you need to be able to unwind at the end of the day in order to keep going the next day. We also are very health conscious. I think that's a big misconception that, you know, people who consume cannabis are not health conscious. We are very health conscious. We grow organically, which a lot of people don't do. We're kind of on the forefront of that. We like to work out. We would like to work out like 4 times a week if we can get to it. And smoking helps with the inflammation. It allows our bodies to kind of heal, reset, and then I can get up in the morning and do it all over again. We have this endocannabinoid system in our bodies, and they have receptors that allow, you know, the THC, the CBD, the CBG, CBN, to, you know, attach to the receptors. So we have this system in our body that helps regulate our like physiological, emotional states.
Meu Deus do céu. Dos efeitos colaterais da maconha é essa fome depois de você fumar, né? A famosa larica. Vamos combinar que nos últimos 3 minutos eu comi mais açúcar que nas últimas 3 semanas. A gente está falando de uma substância que, de certa forma, deixa a gente acelerado, tem um impacto no nosso organismo. Não estou aqui para fazer apologia à droga, à substância nenhuma. Nem o açúcar, nem a bebida, nem a maconha. Mas eu acho que analisar as coisas, pensar nelas, levar isso tudo em consideração, é válido.
As far as I understand, like the reason there's so many strip clubs here is because like they're very into constitutional rights and that like you should be able to just like do what you want to do.
Welcome. Hi.
For some people, it's a job that they do out of necessity, and that's okay. But for me, I adore my job, and I'm proud of it, and I think it made me a better person. And it got me out of what could have been some bad situations in the past. So if I could scream from a mountaintop that I love my job and this is something that I do as a choice, that would be amazing.
It seems to me like Portland is a place where liberties in general, where freedom is very much embraced, whether you talk about weed or strip clubs.
Exactly, yeah.
Why do you think this place is the strip club mecca of the United States?
The big thing for Oregon is the Oregon Constitution protects nudity as free speech. So unlike Washington or California, we can have full nudity here, so.
I spoke to some people that work in the weed industry.
Yeah.
And they said, we used to do the same thing, but it was considered illegal. Now it's legal,
yeah,
and we can do it out in the open. When it comes to sex workers, when it comes to the adult industry,
yeah,
do you feel like it should be kind of the same? When you do things and it's hidden and it's forbidden, it's bad for the girls in every single way because they don't have rights, they don't have a voice.
I think the more that humans just evolve in general, you're just gonna see society continue to evolve and accept who people are as time goes on. And we're still so far in the beginning of it regarding exotic dancers, regarding the LGBTQ community, regarding the African American community. I mean, there are so many benchmarks that we still need to hit. It's gonna take society a long time, but I think we're all taking those steps right now, those baby steps, and continuing to move forward.
What's up, Mac? Pedro. How's it going?
It's good to see you.
Excited to be here.
Awesome. Welcome to the Aroma facility here.
Thank you. I like the name.
Yes, Aroma.
I smell the aroma. So it seems like weed occupies a pretty big real estate in your life today. How did it come into your life?
It has. Today and for, gosh, most of my adult life. When I was 12, I was hit in the eye with a stick. It's a childhood accident. Playing pine cones and a piece of a branch hit me in the eye and it shattered it was a ruptured globe. And I had glaucoma, was what I was given. So at age 15, I applied and received my medical marijuana card. That was 1998, so I was about 15 at that time. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I became one of the youngest people in Oregon to have their medical card, if not the youngest. And kind of been riding it since then.
When we talk about medical marijuana, we're talking about a substance that is widely accepted. Recreational, there's still some stigma, believe it or not, at this point, in my opinion. I have my own views. How do you feel about recreational marijuana? I know we're in Oregon, so I guess it's more accepted in other places, but how do you feel?
It is hard coming from Oregon, because in Oregon it's been a lifestyle and a culture, more or less, ever since I can remember. How do I feel with it medicinally versus rec? I have a tendency to think that it should be available to anyone and everyone depending on their medical condition. Being a human is a medical condition, kind of, it seems like these days.
This is growing so quickly. Are you afraid that maybe the big brands, the big names, the big money might ruin a part of what you love about this industry?
Well, the moment it went rec and it's commercial, it's automatically changed from some of the pieces that I loved. But in my Do I have fear about it? I don't have fear. I'm just kind of adapting and going with it, and I could use it to my advantage to build potentially build a business big enough and then sell it, and then do something else with it. I mean, that's kind of like building a brewery or building anything else. So I think it's just inevitable, and if you can adapt to that, then you'll be okay long term.
Because these people that have all the money, they don't know the business. They just know business. We actually know the business, though, you know? They're not gonna take the time to go visit forums and do research on what the people like and what they don't like. They just see numbers, you know? We're all the way dug down deep into this.
When you talk about smoking weed, is one thing, but like when you talk about eating weed, you have a different high.
It's a different high, it's a body high.
How would you compare both?
Edibles are like a more relaxed high.
Yeah?
Full body, mellow.
They last a long time?
Yeah, they do.
Some of them.
Just depending on how much ingredients you use, how much you're putting in there, depends, you know?
Some people would say that weed is the first step for...
it's a gateway drug.
A gateway drug.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. I disagree. I'm giving you my thoughts.
I disagree.
Addiction is the gateway. Addiction, you can be addicted to anything, and it can lead you on to any other stuff, you know? It's all about people's consumption of whatever they're doing. You can be addicted to sugar, you can be addicted to coffee, you know what I'm saying? And it can open, okay, you can't find the Russian coffee no more, so let me try some cocaine, you know? It gives me that jitter, it gives me that, I don't see how weed is...
Opioids.
Yeah, opiates, painkillers.
Painkillers.
You know what I'm saying? It's manufactured heroin, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
And it's worse. It's 10 times worse probably than the original plant or what it was meant for, you know? It's just all about people abusing stuff, you know? And then if you have like a weak, I don't know, if you're weak, then you're probably more susceptible to becoming addicted to other stuff.
O Will e a Adriana me chamaram para dar um pulo na casa deles. Vocês, é claro, estão convidados. How are you? How are you doing? Good to see you.
We're going upstairs to smoke some magic hour. So, should be tons of fun.
It's good though. Embrace the feeling. Especially for someone who's a workaholic, can't really turn their brain off, I feel like this helps a lot of ways.
And then Pedro's life was never the same.
And then he melted into the couch and never recovered.
No. All right.
Yeah, blow it up.
Yeah, you don't have to hold it in.
Hold on, I need to do it again.
Here, let me light it a bit for you. Let me stage it for you, just to get it.
Tell me if I'm doing something wrong.
No, you don't need to hold it for so long. That's a myth.
Sweating.
I kind of do a.
Oh.
See, I barely held it in.
Okay.
Smoking Joints 101 with Magic Hour Cannabis. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you like take the inhale, then you can just... Yeah.
Perfecto.
And our stuff is pretty smooth compared to what's on the market, so you shouldn't really cough. That's part of the organically grown.
We see that. He didn't
like
cough.
it. It tastes good.
Yeah, that's
what
the
does it taste
gelato
like?
you smelled today. It should have an ice cream profile, a little bit of gassiness.
I'm not even talking about the feeling yet, but like the taste is so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like smooth.
Yeah, very smooth.
Should I take another one?
Yeah, why not? You look like you've done this before. You don't look like a rookie to me, Pedro. He said he's never smoked before, but I think he might be lying with that one.
And it's pretty wonderful that it's guilt-free.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
Like when you have to like hide to do things,
Yeah.
like it never feels the right way, it never feels good.
Yeah, it definitely wears on you. And you feel the judgment, like not only if you you know, in New York are like smoking at night with friends, but if you happen to consume like first thing in the morning, people will look at you like, oh my God, like what is she doing, you know?
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, it's like, this is my medication, this is improving my life, I'm not a danger to anyone, like just let me be.
Here, you can smoke a joint down the street, the cops don't care.
Yeah.
It's a lot more free, so mentally that does something.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some cops that need it as well.
Oh, 100%.
Uma das muitas lições que eu aprendi aqui em Portland é enxergar a diferença que faz a aprovação, a aceitação, a normalização de uma substância.
I hope it decreases pills. I hope it decreases alcoholism. I think it's a good thing in general for our culture to accept it and for it to be present once again.
A grande verdade é que a guerra contra as drogas nos Estados Unidos é uma guerra absolutamente falida, é uma vergonha para o governo americano, porque a gente tem milhares e milhares de pessoas que estão presas e que não precisavam estar presas, né? Que foram punidas e não precisavam ter sido punidas. E isso não é só uma opinião minha, muito pelo contrário. Nos últimos anos, milhares de usuários de cannabis foram soltos, já que as leis atreladas à maconha mudaram radicalmente na última década. Então, eu acho que é um sinal, é um alarme, é um despertador para que a gente reavalie as nossas ideias com relação a essa substância. E se, de repente, a maconha deixasse de ser o vilão e passasse a ser uma solução? Uma de muitas soluções.
That's why we smoke.
How are you feeling?
Amazing. If you look at, artists from Jimi Hendrix to Snoop Dogg, they all sort of created on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame that it comes attached to guilt and to fear, and to a lot of times a bunch of misconceptions. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
am I too high?
No, that was actually great. That was a great monologue, actually. That was a great monologue. I was kind of immersed in it.
Me too.
And I was like, he's speaking some real shit. That was some real shit.
Maybe you were too high.
Yeah, I was
I'm
high,
kidding.
but it was also...